I will say that connecting up a database, you can generally find that the AI will connect it correctly. A good expectation is about 80% of the time. 20% of the time, it's going to do something silly and you have to backtrack. I see a lot of questions online about database setup and user auth setup. And we'll start with the database. But here's what we're going to put in. Let's map out the database and user auth situation for this app so that users can log in, just an admin. We just want an admin for this, and access a backend to edit the webhook and see records of leads collected. No local or in-memory storage. We're going to map out this path for what I want. We're telling it we're going to use Supabase. That is because Lovable has a Supabase integration right here. It's the one it understands. We're going to see if I like the plan or not, okay? Again, do not make changes. I don't want it to change anything yet. And if it decides to ignore my instruction, we're going to tell it to stop and don't make changes. We have an admin authentication. It's going to use Supabase Auth. I will show you what that means. We have a login page, session persistence, logout functionality, and password reset. Great basic features for our setup here. We have a leads table. I want to make sure that this matches. We have name, email, phone. That's basically what we have here. We have their answers. We have conversations. As it's built right now, the webhook has to be manually put into the code. And we want to be able to save that in the database so we can change it out easily as a user without going into the code. This is our system prompt that I talked about. We're going to be able to enter that. Our key questions that we want asked, follow-up questions, and then security policies. Okay, this looks correct. Whenever you get ready to start this, we know it's going to use Supabase, and it will build stuff out and then ask you to connect your Supabase. I have seen pretty much every single one of these platforms make this mistake. It'll build it out, ask you to connect, and when you go to connect it, it gets lost during the connection process. And there's a small thing you can do to reduce the risk of that, and that is create your connection first and then have it build it out. I don't know exactly why these apps treat it differently if you create the connection first, but it does seem to help out. Let me show you how to make that in Lovable here. You will have to have a Supabase account. Your first database is free. Mine is already connected. We're just going to create a new project. And we are going to name this Vacation Lead Bot. We're going to put in a password. I would always copy this in case you need it later, because you're not going to really be able to see it later. Here, this is where you pick your database location. For folks that are not in the United States, it's good to pick a location that is within your proper data protection areas. I know different parts of the world have different data protection rules. When you create the project, it takes a minute to go, so that you can go down here and start having it prep for that project now that it's created. I'm telling it I've created a Supabase database to attach. Please begin that setup, and we will proceed following that, one step at a time. I will say that connecting up a database, you can generally find that the AI will connect it correctly. A good expectation is about 80% of the time. 20% of the time, it's going to do something silly and you have to backtrack. That's just a piece that you have to accept. Here we're writing several files that are necessary for our functions that we've described. So the admin dashboard, that is needed for the database connection so that it has all the correct paths and so that it has all of the correct schema written into the application so it can talk to the database. Okay, it says to complete the setup, we've run into an error here and it's missing the variables. And what this just means is the app tried to run and it said, hey, where's my database? And the database isn't there. It says we need to add the URL and a non-key as the environment variables. This is what I was talking about as far as the integration going right or wrong. Generally, it will offer an option to just connect the database. Instead of that, it created environment variables to use. And I'm not sure if I would like to put in the environment variables or ask it if it'll actually do its default connection type. I think I would like to see if it will do its default connection type And then if it fails, we'll put in the environment variables. We're going to say, can you do the connection to the database automatically using your Supabase integration? We're just going to ask it that. If not, we'll back up and say, okay, we'll put in the environment variables. It is not liking its own integration. Let's do this and do it manually. Connect. Our database is here. Here we go. Looks like you haven't created any tables, so it's now connected. Generally, it will give you a prompt here with a button that you click. It happens most of the time. It'll give you a little prompt and you click the button and it'll connect to Supabase. Because it didn't do that, and I'm glad it didn't, because now you get to see what happens if it wanders off on its path. We had already created the Supabase, and I was able to just click here and go and connect it. We're connected up. We're going to say, please build and run the database migrations for the tables you outlined above, and correct to use the connection, not environment variables. Do not make other changes. Okay, so it's set up migrations here. Let us apply those changes. Database migrations are simply the process that the AI or any developer sends to the database to create all of the structures that we need, the tables, the columns, everything like that. Now we have our application loading again without the error. Now we're connected to our database. Pretty cool. Create an admin login along the way. Look at that. Pretty fun. Now, there is an issue that you will run into when you are trying to build an admin login using Supabase. And that is, this is a fake local environment for the app to live in. It's not published yet. And when you go to log in, even if it connected it up correctly here, what's going to happen is Supabase has, by default, an email verification turned on. When you go to log in or create the user, it will try to send you an email, and then you click the link in the email and it'll fail. Let me show you how to turn that off for development. We're going to go in here to, this is the thing we built. We're going to go into authentication, and we are going to go into sign in providers, go to email, and we are going to turn off this confirmed email during development. Remember to turn that back on when you're done. So just remember that step if you're connecting to Supabase. Now, I didn't read closely enough to see if it made an admin user here. We'll just ask it. Did you create an admin user? Do not make changes. I don't want it to go making one right now. I want to see the answer to the question. All right, so it says register a new user through the login page. We're just going to put me in and see it's not actually a register. Let's ask it if it made a register page or if we just needed the migration. It says we need to create one. Please create that. Here's our register. Let's see if it built it. Said it was successful. Save that, see if it works. Hey, we got auth and it let us in and kicked us right back out, didn't it? That was exciting. When you log in like that and it kicks you back out, it probably messed up something with storage in the application. Let's open this up in a new tab. We are in our admin dashboard. It hasn't kicked me out yet, which makes me think it was just an issue with this particular iframe portal that didn't hold the session. We have created our little backend, and here's our system prompt that we can edit. And here's where we can add our qualifying questions that the AI is going to use. So we have gone from just a little front end that was just a bunch of pretend information to adding admin functionality, a database, and a bunch of backend pieces that we can use for making this a functional application. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and follow. And if you need help building or finishing your app, click the link in my bio to book a one-on-one Zoom call to take a look at your project.